Oh, baby, yo, yeah, summer wine.
Good morning. Welcome to the Pan-African Women's Association Annual Seminar. Accelerate measures to end female genital mutilation, gender-based violence, and uphold sexual reproductive health rights of girls and women. Honorable Your Excellency Ambassador Amel Ben Yunus of Tunisia, dignitaries, delegates, speakers, everybody, all protocols duly observed here today. PAWA was created in 2003 by African women to take up many of the issues and challenges that face them here in Norway. And since then, this annual seminar has been a safe space, a safe platform for us to come together every single year and take up the issues, gender-based violence, FGM, and many other issues that concern us here in Norway. So this year is not an exception to that. On that note, I am Nene Bojang. For those of you who don't know me, I'm the chair and one of the founders of the Inter-African Committee in Norway, together with Shirifo Mama and the others. And my humble roots started in Pan-African Women's Association here. This is where I received all my training and everything to be able to create a platform for myself and others in Norway as well. On that note, we move on with the opening remarks for an amazing lady who comes from the pride of Africa herself, Kenya. Her name is Benta Adiambo. She is the CEO of Pan-African Women and one of the founding members of this platform many, many years ago. I can't even remember. A round of applause, please, for Benta Adiambo.
Thank you. Beautiful. Yes. Good morning. I hope you are all awakened now. I hope that the other people are coming. Thank you all for coming. I'm happy to see those who are really respected time, and those coming late too will respect their decision. Yes, I just want to say something a little bit. She has just said all about me, and I'm happy. She was very, very diligent, very good person in PAWA. We did too much together, and I miss her in PAWA. But people have to move on and make development to expand. So, having said that, I just want to greet you today. Not much, just greet you, just call a small opening speech. Although it is an opening speech, but I'm going to read it a bit. I just wrote it myself, but I'm reading it so that I don't forget what I want to say. Welcome, Her Excellency. Thank you for honoring our invitation. Thank you. Thank you all speakers also for honoring our invitations who are present here. I really do appreciate all that have come, and also the participants, very important for PAWA. But African time, I think the hall will be full very soon, very soon, very soon. So I just say that, dear Excellencies, distinguished guests, leaders, members, and participants at all, good morning. Are you all woken? Yeah. As PAWA, we are humbled to host you, these important people, attending our conference this 8th October to discuss issues affecting girls, women, in relation to gender-based and ending FGM. As she has just explained, to accelerate measures to end female genital mutilation, gender-based violence, and to uphold sexual reproductive health rights of girls and women. That's why we are here. PAWA and other stakeholders like NENE Inter-African Committee and others have been on the forefront, leading the desired change process, aimed to reducing psychological distress associated with harmful traditional practices, which makes them lose self-worth. However, in driving this change, we share phrases by Albright, that is the former Prime Minister in Britain, which states, "Women are best enemy." I think all you're aware. If you Google, you see what Albright, what makes us not to be shining. Women are best enemy. I think that one will be explained later on. So I said that women being her best enemy, this happens because in most occasions, we do not come out, we do not speak up, we do not speak out jointly to condemn the ill treatment, violation, and deprivation of our spaces. We don't speak out and speak up and jointly, maybe separately, but we still need to be jointly stronger. And the greatest concern is that with all the laws, regulations, actions plans put in place by the global community, every country, there is slow pace in realizing sexual reproductive health rights from implementation. We have done this several years. As Nene stated, the speaker, the moderator, PAWA started 2003. I joined PAWA 2009. We joined together, but we also made it a platform jointly. So, despite the laws, we have been fighting for the gender-based violence globally, locally, but still there's a slow pace in realizing implementation. On this note, PAWA has been creating such conferences for youth, adults, stakeholders, and leaders to have a proactive engagement for better health of our people who are facing a lot of violation, deprivation of their sexual reproductive health. Finally, I urge all of us to pull together on one direction and maximize spaces provided by governments, right from municipality, Oslo commune, national levels up to national as well. Welcome all. I urge you all to pull together on one direction. Welcome all again. I hope you will have a productive deliberation for prompt actions. Thank you all in advance. Thank you all in advance. Lastly, in our midst, we have Her Excellency Amel Ben Younes, the Ambassador of Tunisia, and I call on the moderator to welcome her for official remarks. As PAWA, we are privileged to have you here, Her Excellency, in this conference, and request we work together. This is just the beginning. Thank you once again. God bless you all.
That was a heartfelt and warming, welcoming speech by the CEO and original founding member of the Pan-African Women's Association, Norway. As she rightly said, we are honored, we are privileged to be in the company of Her Excellency, the Ambassador Amel Ben Younes of Tunisia, who will give her Chief of Guest remarks. Welcome, Your Excellency. Should she come here or there?
You know, I will sing and dance. It's more, yeah. Esteemed audience, I'm so happy and honored to be your guest today. And actually, by the way, no protocol is needed. We are brothers and sisters here, so I'm not His Excellency. And then, talking after distinguished, members of your institution is very difficult. And I'm happy that the journey will begin from that day with myself and my country and my embassy. So I'm very happy to be your guest this morning. And thank you, Pan-African Foundation. Thank you, Interculturelt Museum, for associating me to your very interesting and timely conference. I would like also to value the pertinent choice of the event topic on gender-based violence. And actually, for me, female genital mutilation and preventing the reproductive health rights is one of the worst forms of violence against women and girls. It's indeed high time to do, and it's important to focus into this global phenomenon of violence against women and girls, which has been further amplified during the COVID pandemic and time of conflict. Esteemed audience, it's sad to notice that violence against women is everywhere. It's unfortunately the expression of women's unequal and discriminatory status. It varies in form and degree across cultures and countries, but persists worldwide. Nevertheless, violence against women and girls should never be considered as a fatality, should not be tolerated nor justified. I think that the efforts of our respective countries, and mainly the international community, must be reinforced to contain this phenomenon. In this regard, I would like to confirm the commitment of my country, Tunisia, to adhere to any international effort or initiative that could achieve this goal. Esteemed audience, it's acknowledged that Tunisia is often considered as a pioneering country in women's rights in the Arab Muslim world. And by the way, I'm very happy and honored to be with you today. It's for the Muslim countries, it's a holiday, it's the birth of our Prophet, so I'm very happy to be among you today. Actually, I have been always proud to be Tunisian woman, because in my country, women enjoy progressive rights, thanks to the Personal Status Code enacted only a few months after the independence of Tunisia in 1956. It's thanks to this valuable code, which has abolished polygamy and repudiation, that Tunisia gained the reputation of being an exception, actually, in the Arab Muslim world. More recently, and after the Tunisian Revolution of Liberty and Dignity in 2011, women's rights were further strengthened thanks to revolutionary laws that consecrate parity, allow Tunisian Muslim women to marry non-Muslim without converting him to Islam. Yes, it was a good news for Norwegian men, actually, and women, Tunisian women. In this regard, I avail myself of this opportunity to share with you some concrete endeavors deployed at the national level, aiming to eliminate all forms of violence against women, especially the historic strides of enacting a law in this respect on July 26, 2017. This, for us, Tunisians, this historic piece of legislation adopts a broad definition of violence. In addition to physical violence, the law recognizes other forms of violence against women and girls, including economic, sexual, political, and psychological, in public or private spaces or in digital and social media platforms. Gosh, how we suffer in these platforms. It also provides protection mechanisms that enable victims to access the necessary services and legal and psychological assistance. In 2018, an intersectoral agreement has been signed in order to support the contribution of civil society in responding to victims of violence. It's an agreement that takes into account the different roles and contributions of the frontline sectors of intervention: justice, security, health, social affairs, and women's and family affairs. In 2020, and in accordance with the above-mentioned law, the National Observatory for the Fight Against Violence Against Women was created for collecting data on cases of violence against women, monitoring policy, and cooperating with civil society, the constitutional institutions, and other public bodies involved in the implementation of the policy to combat violence based on gender. Since 2020, first, a new national strategy to combat violence against women is developed, which includes the goal of sustainability to eradicate the phenomenon and combat the various forms of discrimination against women. It should also improve two main pillars. First, prevention, mainly through communication and sensibilization, and second, protection and support of women victims of violence in close collaboration with civil society. Distinguished audience, Tunisia joined last November 25th the international community in its celebration of the International Day for the Elimination of Violence Against Women, under the global theme Orange the Word and Violence Against Women Now, to raise awareness of the seriousness of the crime that threatens all societies without exception, and to mobilize international, regional, and national efforts to eliminate it and contain its destructive impact. Besides, Tunisia calls on the international community to redouble its efforts and activate the necessary mechanisms to combat and eliminate violence against women by developing national legislation that guarantees women's rights and protects them from violence and discrimination, by strengthening mechanism of commitment and accountability, by putting an end to the state of impunity, and by creating an educational and cultural environment in which the principle of gender equality is one of the fundamental pillars of building a balanced, healthy, and inclusive society. I would like also to underscore that Tunisia voted in favor of the mandate of the United Nations Independent Expert on protection against violence and discrimination based on sexual and gender identity. Esteemed audience, to conclude, I need to highlight the fact that in Tunisia, we strongly believe that the fight against the gender-based violence is an important component of human rights and a responsibility that we shall share in a constructive and participatory spirit to build peaceful and resilient society free of all forms of violence and discrimination. And I need maybe to say a last word that this struggle against the gender violence, the gender-based violence, is a daily struggle for all women in all countries for their human dignity and freedom. Thank you for your kind attention.
Good morning and welcome to everyone. I would just like to say from my own self, from PAWA, thanks so much to the Ambassador of Tunisia, and we're here to offer her some flowers. The flowers, I think they look like her, pretty as her. Thank you.
We must acknowledge the wonderful deliberation and the chief guest of remark from Her Excellency Ambassador Amel Ben Yunus. It is indeed an honor to know that Tunisia is leading, or is one of the African countries that is prominently leading in the empowerment of women. I think most of us, Bent and the others are from the Pride of Africa, Kenya. I'm from the smiling coast of Africa, the Gambia. We have Ugandans, we have many people from different parts of Africa. So I think we can learn a lot from Tunisia, especially the issue that we up to today are tackling with as well, being Norwegian citizens, and we're dealing seriously with the issues of polygamy up to now. So how you manage to get that law, a law in your country, being a Muslim country, that would be really interesting to know. And then you touched on a very other important issue, which is the issue of digital violence. Digital violence is the new form of gender-based violence that we face every day. And what is striking and what is so horrible about it, we see other women stand on the platforms and abuse other women for being feminists, for being this, for being that, you know, instigated by men under. So that is a new approach that we have to even look at, that we've never even had before. And it's going to be interesting to have the young lady address that later on. On that note, we move on. Okay, before we just move on to our next speaker, Bente is just going to quickly introduce the board of the Pan-African Women's Association.
Yeah, before Her Excellency leaves, because I think she has a lot of protocol issues to attend to. Her Excellency Benta, I think we met, but my name is Benta Dhiambo, originally from Kenya. I am the CEO, administrator. I'm the handy lady in that office. But amongst that, the people who worked so hard to make this occasion successful is next to you. Christina, can you stand up? This is Christina Mungai, our chair, the chair of Pan-African Women Association in Norway. And you have also Margaret. Where's Margaret? A board member. We also have Melorin, who have just given the flower, also from America. We have also very digital and digital supporter from the university, who is our also youth member. We have also a friend who has just come called Sarah Kasai. She's very well known in Norway. We have also a friend, Semret and Cecilia, who is also strong with Christians, giving us faith and power. All these people work hard to make this occasion successful. Thank you very much. Sorry for the interference. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Benta Adiambo. On that note, we move on to our next topic, which is harmful traditional practices, effects of FGM. Traditions, cultural beliefs, norms, its adverse effects on girls and women. This is going to be addressed by a very important man in the Norwegian community, Tayab Chaudhry, who is the leader and the CEO of the International Health and Social Group. Welcome, Tayab.
Thank you. Her Excellency, I think she's gone. Delegations from all over the places, and including myself, I'm humbled to be here. I prepare my speech in Norwegian, but I think the students and the ambassador, if she's gone, should we continue with the Norwegian or English? Or please let me know. What do we do? I'll mix both. Okay, that would be fine. I think what I have to do is I tell you who I am and my organization, the work we do, and then having your questions later on the debates. So would be here. I should be here on the whole day. International Health and Social Group is a network. It's not just one organization. It's even PAWA is also part of us in the network. So we have different organizations. What we do is the dialogue is very important in this whole scenario, which we have to take. And one of the theme today we are discussing is it's like a social problem in different societies. But what we do is in Norway, this is what I'm going to concentrate. Prevention is the one thing, but we all heard, even the Excellency, Tunisia is a wonderful example, the Kenya is a wonderful example again. But there are few parts in the international global countries which we do face odds. We established this network in 1994 in Norway. The reason by addressing the topics like today. Nobody else was doing it. So we thought at least we should have a network where we have a different organization together and we can address these problems in our own societies, in our own communities. When we talk about the communities, and in Norway, since it's been a COVID, it's not been very much migration. But since we are here, I just light out you who are the migrants. It's 221 countries here in Norway, present today, in most of them in Oslo. And we speak 200 languages. And we have you see on the top from the Poland, Latvian, and then Sweden, Somalian, Thailand, Iraq, Syria, Philippines, Pakistan, Eritrea. These are the migrants. Why do they come to Norway and how do they come to Norway? That you all know. There are 3 reasons. One is the family reunion, then to work here in Norway and to study in Norway. The most of them are from the family reunion. We are here and we have very few students. But I still encourage that Norway is one of the country where you have the master students, master languages, master degrees, all free for the students, even all foreign students, for all the countries can apply to Norway. It's a very few countries, only 2 countries in Europe which offer this program, is Norway and Italy. Why? I said, again, like we have to work together and face these odds, but drive folkehelsearbeid or development work, which is also important to highlight here, and help ourselves. So it's not somebody else going to come and help us. So it's a help to help our groups in our own communities is very important. You see this picture, it's the girls coming from the South Africa, and we had a workshop with a youth workshop. And this is what we do. We do invite the delegations from the other part of the world, like today, our ambassador were here. It's also important to understand the risk factors in our own communities here. Lifestyle, like problems, fedma, diabetes, or heart diseases. We have a little sort of physical exercise inactive. Vaner, ovaner, also demands. Health is also social, our health is also connected with our social importance. Psychosocial challenges, language is also a barrier. What we need is to do exactly look in these problems and how we can tackle it. Like today, what my aim is to motivate our youth, motivate our females to work together and face these odds. Bevisstgjøring, holdningsskapende, og forebyggende arbeid is important in this sense. Prevention is very important, but caring also is very important. Empowerment of unge og kvinner are today, how we empower ourselves, like we heard our ambassador, she said, this is where we need to work together. We heard Bente, and Nana also said that few in lines. And I congratulate all these, Christine, your effort is marvelous in this sense. And women's empowerment is so important in this sense, like educate ourselves to do the empowerment of the women. You're doing a great work along with us. And then mor-barn helse, mother-child health is also important. And we have a problem like drugs abuse and psychiatric health. I must also say that all these, the number of the lists, it's like a thematic area for the organization, is HIV/AIDS, sexual reproductive health, and the women's rights are very important. And have we given these rights in this country? Still, even our umbrella organization is facing these odds, and still we have to work together. Racism and discrimination is also part of it, you all know. And then elderly migrants, to give equivalent services for the elderly migrants who has also arrived in this country. What we have done is it's years of work behind this whole thing. If I tell you, give you the feedback we received from you or other countries, all these things are the same thing, we are doing it again and again. But what you see, this picture is like a same old shit and the crazy new shit. And what is the crazy new shit is what we bring to add on it in our collaboration, like Samarbeit years Fordeler. That our collaboration is important to go and face these problems and to work together. We have three under organization is the youth, very important, and the female are very important. The youth works with the youth, and the females work with the females. And we have a females ambassador. My colleague sitting here, Bent is also one of the ambassador. Christine is ambassador. And even we have the FAG, Utvalgis, people like me or the others which are working in this field. So they also sit together and work out how we're going to work even further. Then again, a collaboration or cooperation with the civil societies and the government is also important. I highlighted here from the bottom, all these small organizations is also important. Then the mosque and the Meninghet and the church, they all are civil societies. And then we have our own government institutions which also help us with the economical stability to work together. It's all, we have the volunteers. The cause they have is we have to work for the human's cause. That is important. So we don't see the colors, we don't see the race, we don't see anything. But what we do is dialogue and networks meetings. And we also have the local and national level program. And to be the work bisha are also, sometimes the government needs to know about the things, or the government wanted to pass the bill, which is not in our favor, so we have to be very much aware of these, our own rights as well. Course, seminars, arrangements are there. The yearly events are Vardendagen for Eldre. Elderly migrants have a FN's, United Nations Day, 1st October, which we also have every year. We invite all of you. And then we have a Vardendagen for Psykisk Helse, World Psychiatric Health Day, is the 10th of October, which we, again, on this coming Monday, we're going to have to, I invite you all to the, since Ambassador also said this is the Prophet's birthday, so they have given us the Sondre Nordstrand Muslim Center has given us the place to be there on 10th of October. And they are from 3 o'clock to 17:00, and then we have a dinner and the social gathering. A very humble place to be. And then we have a women's conference is on FN Day, United Nations Day, 24th of October. Again, I invite all the women. This is going to be on FN Day from 15:30 to Shalimar Tandoori Restaurant. It's like Indian tandoori restaurant. So Ben will give you the address if needed. So get in touch with them. It's also important to have the collaboration conference once a year, which we also have in November, October. And youth have their own festival in December, which is early, they call it WAD Festival, but now they only call it Youth Festival. And this year theme is also Empower the Youth. And then we have Eid fighting and Yule fighting. It's important that we also have every year. That I think I'll just go over to the, what we need is, we need forskning, research work. We need our own experiences to share with each other, and we need to have our users. So when you collect them together, and then we make like our own agenda to work against these odds. I said about earlier dialogue, et liv fri fra frykt, tvang og vold. if you understand, this is the, again, the picture tell you that the forced marriages or our FGM's problems, and then our social attitudes toward our youth. And it is important to see this. These pictures tell you a lot. But who are we? Are we really thinking about it? Are we really working on it? Or you just, even why I said those are here, you are the very important ambassadors in this field. So without you, we cannot work against these odds. This picture also tell you that how long we're going to continue the way we are living. So we need to change our own attitude. And if we wanted to reach to our goals, so we need to change the tire. We need to change our brain here. That our children are born here, so our practices should be according to the country's law and existence. And if I may say that what ends up, what we give to our children when we go through these all three problems which we tackle, like they don't have a proper health. I, as standing here, would tell you, I don't remember if I have to explain to you the PSTD, post-traumatic stress diseases, lethal, sir. What is PSTD? It is only one sort of a problem, but we have at least 235 diagnoses in the health, social problems and psychiatric problems. And one of us, I tell you, if you go through, I'm not the expert, it's my colleagues going to talk about more about really how do the things done. I think this is every conference we do, we talk about it. But today is my sort of contribution is that look at the problem we face, look at the problem we give to our children, look at the problem of our own attitude, end up with the. So if you have really become sick, I can explain to you, you have a bad dreams when you sleep. Your brain does not rest. You think about all the time the problems given to you are ourselves. Nobody else has given these problems. We have given our problems to our youth. We are the one to change our own attitude. And at the same time, to know about your rights, at least I don't blame my parents that why do they do these things. But time has come that we at least with the knowledge, with the skill, with the information, so at least we can provide the better status for our own children. I said like a certain problem. They can't concentrate on the universities or schools. Who do we blame? Like, I mean, I talk about these problems. One of my my own close relation, Dixon, Sarah sitting here, she's related to my niece. My own son has married to Sarah's sort of a niece. So I say, okay, children should be given the choice what they really wanted to. I beg you, for the sake of our children, at least give them their rights. Not, I mean, you wanted to harm them. No parents wanted to harm our children. But the only thing is, at least we should understand our children, and that's where the communication and the dialogue comes. So the dialogue is not like just talk about things, but we call it Indra dialogue. When I really believe in dialogue, that how should I win, it's not scoring my point, that at least I stand here and tell you what dialogue is. Dialogue is also like give us the space where we can understand each other, where we can talk about difficult things, but at the end, it's not me who says, okay, I'm going to win. In debate, difference between the debate And the dialogue gives us the possibility to speak with each other, to understand each other. But the debate, we say, okay, I'm going to win because it's scoring the best I can. And infotainment is very important. Like Nana said, that one of our mothers going to give us the entertainment. That is where we feel happy. When we look at our culture, the strong culture we have from our own countries, I don't say this is a very positive thing and you should keep it. The changing attitude is something different and keeping the culture is something different. And I just don't have the time to go all these things. This is the exercise we do, the behavior change process, which is important for you to know. When you come to this country, you are unaware. You don't know your rights. And it happens with every migrant. And then our job is, civil societies and the government's job is to make you informed, aware about your rights. And then move on to this, and then it becomes your concern. When you know about your rights, you know about your, like how you're going to live in this country, and then is a sort of a knowledgeable and skilled you require. I always say, all these youngsters coming to this country, they have a lot of skill, they have a lot of knowledge, but do they use it? They end up with the odd jobs, like even my generations, they end up with the taxi drivers. They did not use their skill and knowledge they had, which is also important that you should not just go after the money. Use your skill, use your knowledge. And are we really motivated for change? Like I showed this picture with the tire change, and this is where we said we need to motivate ourselves, and then we are ready for change. If we believe in change, then we are ready for change. And then, like a trial change of a new behavior. I'm standing here. When I came to this country, I could not even speak the language. But I speak Norwegian, I speak English, I speak my mother tongue, I speak at least 3-4 other languages. But Norwegian society has given me the opportunity to study in Norway. And then motivate and adoption of the new behavior. And we can maintenance it. That like today's Nana standing here, I should at least, and Bente is here, we all came from one place, but today are we Norwegian. I carry this knoll, which is given to me by the authorities, and I say I'm a Norwegian. This hurricanes, these pictures tell you like palm trees. Do we really want to, if we really want to exist in this society, so we should be like, I don't say become like a palm tree, but I showed the other picture is, if you stick like a hardness, then you fall down. You always look into the people's eyes and tell you what you learn from them. And be like a palm tree. So even the hurricanes comes or the difficulty times comes, so you just bend around and see we exist. And I don't say that you bend around against your own odds, but you have the attitude of yourself which will tell you that, okay, the wind will pass and I'll stand up again. This is Chinese saying that be like a bamboo tree. This is African because the bamboo tree in China is a lot of bamboo trees. So they use that term. In Asia we use in Africa also. What we need to know is also like provide the care for our own communities. Have an open meeting place. Where I work is an open meeting place for every one of you. So you can come and visit. It's Torgata Inn, which is in the 6th floor, where my office is, where the organization office is. So we all are together. There you see the Liul, or before the Christians, your head of the organization was very much part of us. But what is important is, like, once you become the member, so we don't have a membership fees even. For the organizations, yes, they pay 500 per organization, but the individuals don't pay. They just put their name and tell about which organization they belong and their email, and that's all. Yeah, and their phone number we require. We also have a messring or trivsels i vardagen. Like I mentioned, all these problems which we have, so we sit together, we have a cup of tea, and every Wednesday we have this sort of network meeting where you all can join us, and where we have food and sit around the table and talk about our own problems. And this is where we go even further. Like a few suggestions which we also give to our government agencies, which is also important that to have again, like know about your rights. Styrke kompetansen i helse- og omsorgstjenester, styrke tillegningstilpasning. Also, vi trenger flere møteplasser. We need a lot of meeting place for the group, and especially like for the ladies and the young women. I don't know how much time I have, so somebody has to point out to me. Like Mother Teresa had very much, see, 14 minutes. Like, what we have the greatest disease in Europe is isolation, and we don't talk about our problems. But you see, I again beg you that if you have a problem, please do contact us. Please do not keep it to yourself, and be aware of your own problems. PST is one thing, but if we work with a multiplication of problems which you need to be addressed. And one of the nice things I had from this picture was, I think it tells us we can cure ourselves. So you only need is to have the positive attitude. What I also have begged sort of diaspora communities that at least give something back to your own countries. I built this mother-child health care hospital in my own country, where I came from. So I again say, the knowledge or skill you achieve in this country, it should be transferred to your back home as well. So at least with your efforts, you can build the society back home as well. Again, these are the resources and competencies, very important. Like I said, we don't see the colors. This picture also tells you that, but the only thing is we have to work together. As a cultural meditation, as an integrated team. So it's not a one person or one organization can work all alone and see that we can achieve our task. IHSG has given 3 government prizes in this country. I mean, we have a Open AIDS Prize, we have Oslo Prize, and we have Carl Evans Prize. And these are the sort of acknowledgement, again, the work we do for our own communities, in our own societies. Again, this is our address. Like I said, we find ourselves in Torgata Inn, 6th floor. You can website, you can send an email, and you can be part of our organization, and then be part of these activities which we have. Again, I think I could have saved more time, but again, we sit in the panel and I'll answer your question. If you have now, right now, so I'll be happy to have it.
Wow, that was very, very interesting to know the amazing work that Tayyip Chowdhury, the Dagli leader of the International Health and Social Group. What is important in what Mr. Tayyip Chowdhury has said is the importance of giving children and every individual their rights. He said that FGM and child and early forced marriages are a harmful tradition. He also spoke about that, and he also did talk about PSTD, and he also explained that, which is a serious issue that many of us here in Norway have gone through or suffer from. And he also spoke something very important about acknowledging the 10th, which is on Monday, the thing on psychological health, mental health. And we want to thank him for the amazing work that he's doing as a Muslim man, and women's empowerment feminist, a he for she activist, as we would say in terminology of the United Nations. We're extremely proud of the work that you're doing, and we hope that you'll continue to work with many of the organizations that are under you and will join you as well. And on that note, I give you to this amazing lady that has something for you.
Now, we always give flowers to ladies, but we have a man that is a man, so we have to give him flowers. Why? He honored ladies.
It's beautiful. A round of applause for the he for she activist, Tayyip Chowdhury. It's beautiful. Yeah. Dignitaries, delegates, our amazing speakers, and all of you in the audience, we can now take a couple of minutes, a break, use the bathrooms, take some coffee, tea, water, whatever is your preference, mingle a little bit, and then we'll be back in a couple of minutes for the second part. Thank you very much.
Atwango mini josi givoli kori musolete misiepa. Turago ni gita misiepa ari worio suna migori. Turago ni gita misiepa ari worio suna migori. Ne waja kuwodwa jomori ne wadi yosuna mabondo. Ne waja kuwodwa jomori ne wadi yosuna mabondo. Odiwali masiba arison gudi mina chuku maluoro. Odiwali moyer arison gudi mina chuku maluoro. Odine wadonye arison gudi mina chuku nerwaka. Odine wadonje arson gudi mina uma nerwaka. Iro rwako waya jomori ne wamora tenga gisosi. Iro rwako waya jomori ne wamora tenga gisosi. Wajuri tuli juda nyango wana nereka waduogo. Arizono ridi yora nyango wananere ka waduogo mama.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests. Can we all please settle down again so that we go on to the second part of the program? To those of you that have just joined us, welcome to the annual seminar of the Pan-African Women's Association. Today's theme, Accelerate Measures to End Female Genital Mutilation, Gender-Based Violence, and Uphold Sexual Reproductive Health Rights of Girls and Women. For those of you who just arrived now, we've had our guest, we had the opening remarks by the CEO and founding member of the Pan-African Women's Association, the daughter of the Pride of Africa, Kenya, Benta Adiambo. We also had the our amazing guest speaker, Her Excellency Ambassador Amel Ben Yunus of Tunisia. And then we had the role model and the he for she activist, Tayyib Chaudhry, who also spoke to us about harmful tradition practices and its effects. And then we had the coffee break. So we move on to the second part, and we have an amazing young woman here with us. Her name is Musa Kalindi Muyangandu. She's 30 years old. She currently lives in Oslo and works as an omni-service advisor by profession at H&M Carl Johan. She's originally born and partly raised in Zambia, but spent most of her teenage life here in Norway. She has studied marketing management at the University BI here in Norway. She's presently in her third year and specialized both in international marketing and digital marketing. She's been interested in many interesting topics, ranging from fashion, marketing, interior decorations, as well as sensitive topics like mental health and health in general. She has an interest in evolving mentally as well as learning new things. Today, in the context of accelerating measures to end female genital mutilation, gender-based violence, and uphold sexual reproductive health rights of girls and women, she is going to be talking about gender-based violence and domestic violence, introduction to GBV, that's gender-based violence, and give definitions, possible causes, and prevention measures. Can we please give a round, warm of applause for her, please? Thank you.
I guess it's afternoon already. I can just give a short introduction of myself, but first of all, I would like to say thank you to Pan-African for inviting myself and my team Arise to this opportunity to be able to talk about sensitive topics like GBV and domestic violence. In case my voice is cracky, I'm a bit nervous, so just bear with me. And yes, so my name is Muiza Mnangandu, as I was introduced, and I'm a member of Arise, and my team is here in the audience. Yes. Thank you. And as you can see, Arise stands for Africans Rising in Solidarity and Empowerment. And that's our Instagram page and Facebook page. And we're just basically a community-based initiative organization in Norway providing safe and progress spaces for and by Africans since our foundation in 2018. I do not know if you are aware that Arise was part of the biggest demonstration of George Floyd. Arise was the co-founder of that, yes. So, I'm going to be talking about gender-based violence and domestic violence. And my agenda for today is I'm going to talk about the definitions, the form, the causes, discussions, and the prevention measures that we can find a solution to this problem. So I will start with what is gender-based violence, and what I can say is it's a violence that is directed against the person because of that person's gender, or violence that affects persons or a particular gender. And it's also rooted in gender equality, abuse of power, harmful norms. It's also a violation of human rights and life-threatening health. And these are the different types of gender-based violence. We have sexual violence, physical violence, emotional and psychological violence, and socio-economical. When it comes to social violence, it includes sexual harassment, intimidation, humiliation, so forth. And then we have physical, that is mostly slavery or physical assault, trafficking. We have the emotional and psychological, which goes into abuse, humiliation, such as insults, the way people are raised in different circumstances, and socio-economical, that includes discrimination and denial of opportunity based on sex and gender and sexual orientation and etc. And then this is a statistics that I had found a research on based on the level of gender-based violence that is worldwide. And I will basically stick on the women that says about 35% of women worldwide have experienced physical or sexual violation or by an intimate partner. But personally, I think that number is little because that is an ongoing situation every day. And then globally, we have 7% that have been sexually assaulted by someone or another partner. Globally, there may be 38% of women that have been murdered by their partners or men, and in total, 200 million have experienced genital mutilation and cutting. And countries in the world that have mostly the countries that have the highest gender-based violence is like countries like India, Afghanistan, Syria, Somalia, Saudi Arabia, Pakistan, Democratic of Congo, one of the saddest places where women are violated every day because of the war that is going on there. And then we have in Yemen, we have the United States, South Africa. I could say South Africa may face the highest gender-based violence is because women there are killed almost every day. It's a scare to be a woman in South Africa. We have a story of a woman, a very popular sad story of a woman who was going to get a mail from the post office, and the man at the post office told her to come and get the package. And when she went to get the package, it was only her and the postman who first of all raped her and killed her to death. And when he was asked the question, why did you kill and rape this woman? And his first answer was, first of all, she was difficult to kill. I tried to hit her head as much as I could, but she couldn't die. I just wanted her to die. And we have so many stories of women who are violated.
Was he executed?
I know it's very sensitive, but he was in prison for that. And there's another story of a woman, very well-known celebrity, who was almost in a similar situation, who was killed in a hotel by her fiancé. So it's situations like that. We also have countries like in South America, like Mexico, Venezuela, where women are trafficked, sexually trafficked, like into different places. India, we have many African women who are transported to India to work for sex. And I think we've seen that documentation on BBC. Also in Europe, we have women who are also been violated. We have 1 in 3 women who are physically, sexually violated, 1 in 20 who are raped, 95% who can be sexually exploited, and so on. And what are the causes of gender-based violence? Well, one of them could be the influence of one's peer, lacking of attention or respect, having low self-esteem, experiencing abuse, neglect, witnessing violence in a home, which is very common, community and media's access to weapons. And this is just a small graph to show how this thing is like a cycle. First of all, we have the society. How does the society impact on gender-based violence? And how does the community come in, the relationship, individuals? So this is just a simple graph that is showing you how all these come to play when it comes to gender-based violence. And when it comes to gender-based violence, usually it's a cycle of 3 victims. Mostly is, for example, men who abuse women, women can abuse men can abuse children, and also women can abuse children, sorry. But in this era, I think we can focus mostly on the abuse between men and women, because mostly women are the victims in this situation. And when it comes to the consequences of gender-based violence, we know that women are usually the victims of gender-based violence. It destroys the society. It threatens the family structure. Children are the ones that tend to suffer, and it causes a lot of damages, mostly to children growing up in these kind of situations. And we have a lot of women or sisters who watch their mothers being violated, and it tends to be like home usually break. It leaves psychological scars, a lot of mental health issues. It affects us with the consequences are also health effects, diseases such as HIV, and it also increases economic instability, including like poverty and negative social repercussions. And how can we prevent gender-based violence? Is by educating and educating and educating, which means that we have to talk about it. We have to study what are the causes of gender-based violence in different countries and societies and find out why is it happening. We have to believe and support the surviving women who have undergone through these kind of situations, and addressing an equal gender powers relation, mental health facilities, and also engaging with men as allies and also being our partners. There is, before I go to domestic violence, there is a story I would like to give, not to go off topic. In my country, in Zambia, there was a TV program that was called The Divorce Club, something like that. And it was a couple, the whole TV program is about women who find out if their partners are cheating, or men finding out if their partners are cheating. But there was a very interesting episode that I watched one day of a woman who wanted to find out if her husband was cheating, and they had a maid in the house. And what happened was the maid wanted to confess to the madam that I've been sleeping with your husband. And what happened was when the woman started confessing that when you have been traveling, I've been sleeping with your husband and this is what was been going on, the woman started breaking down in tears. And the audience didn't understand why she was crying until she confessed that when she was a child, her father raped her. And the one who was the maid was her daughter. And she did not know how to tell her husband that she was raped by her father when she was 14, resulting to her daughter. So the only way she could keep her daughter close to her was to disguise her as a maid. And the husband was sleeping with the daughter when she was not around. So, gender-based violence is something that is so common in Zambia that we fight almost every single day. So as I'm speaking to you right now, both the mother and the daughter are undergoing through counseling, and of course they ended up in divorce. So I'm now going to touch on domestic violence. And what is domestic violence? Well, it's the control of power, from having the mindset of controlling. Victims can be both men and women. It's violent and aggressive behavior that occurs mostly, typically in the homes, and it's usually the abuse of a spouse or a partner. And domestic violence usually takes place in heterosexual marriages, even same-sex partners. And what are the keys of domestic violence? It's mostly intimidation, humiliating the other person, physical injury, and accepted as a norm in society. When it comes to being accepted as a norm in society, there was one lady who told me that there was a woman who was married and the husband was not beating her. And she was telling her friend, like, I don't know why my husband doesn't beat me. I thought it's a form of love. He's supposed to be beating me. And this lady was like, no, that is not love. And then one day she started provoking the husband, like, why don't you beat me? I thought it's normal. But it's because it's become a normal thing in society whereby women are supposed to be beaten. And yeah. So, what are the causes of domestic violence? It's usually stress, provocation by the intimate partner, economic hardship such as prolonged unemployment, depression, and jealousy. Jealousy is, I can say, for example, if the woman is earning higher, not to go off topic, anger issues, and how does the society contribute to the increase of domestic violence? It's usually when the society is silent about it, when we don't take action. And places like rural areas, like in certain communities in the country, police may not take action because it's something that is like normal in societies. Usually people have this thing of, it's their family, it's none of my business, and people are dying. Women are dying every single time. And then the court does not take it serious as well in some places. As I said, it's a normal thing. And of course, they will blame the woman. It's her fault. She didn't do what she's supposed to do for her husband.
Mental health issues can also cause domestic violence.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, like severe mental health issues like schizophrenia.
Yeah, exactly. And like I was going to come in, domestic abuse is more common in low-income population. The victim may lack the mobility and the financial resources to leave an abusive situation. In circumstances whereby women are surviving with an abusive husband, they know that they do not have the ability to start afresh.
He's the breadwinner.
Yeah, he is the breadwinner. Yeah, thanks. He's a breadwinner, and they have no choice but to stay in that place because they have no financial resources to start afresh or to even take care of themselves. And what are the results of domestic violence? Is usually sleeping problems, depression, anxiety, low self-esteem, anger, and mental health issues and pathology, poor relationships with their children and other loved ones, and sensitivity to rejection. I want to stay on pathology because I believe pathology is something that is passed on generation to generation.
Also post-traumatic stress.
Yeah. And the reason why we are fighting domestic violence, gender-based violence, and what was it called again? Female? Yes. It's a pathology we are fighting. We are fighting traditions, we are fighting religions, we are fighting norms that have been created over and over again. Domestic violence is something that people see in their homes and they think is normal. We have young boys who grow up beating their boyfriends. We have young boys who have grown up seeing their parents or fighting, fathers beating their mothers, and they think it's normal, and then they go and repeat it in their homes, and it becomes a whole cycle. We have young girls who watch their mothers being beaten, insulted, humiliated, and they experience the same thing, and they think it's normal. So if people took it seriously, I don't think it would have been as far as it has gotten now, but then we are fighting a pathology that has been from generation to generation. And according to the World Health Organization, they have noted that gender equalities increase the risk of violence of men against women and inhibit the ability of those affected to seek protection. What are the preventions against domestic violence? Is to modify the physical and social environment, outreach, and community norm change. We shouldn't blame the victims. We should educate more on domestic violence. And in my conclusion, when we look at gender-based violence and domestic violence, they have one common factor, of which the results are mental health issues. Issues of gender-based violence, women who are raped. I know a lot of women who have been raped. And when you are raped, you feel like your identity is taken. You are no longer the same. You feel like something is taken from you, your pride, the womanhood in you. And it's not easy. No, for some people, being a virgin is something big, and when that is taken from you, it's forever. It's not something that can be replaced. Domestic violence destroys your mental state. It destroys the inability to stand on your own. You feel like you're empty, you are nothing. And then we have mental health issues that now affects the society as whole. And mental health is something that we should really put a focus on and digest. It's not, let's say as black people, it's not an embarrassment to talk about mental health. We should address it. We should find the root. We should find the source. And these are the factors that contribute to mental health issues. Because we are dealing with a lot of people who wear a mask outside and inside are dying or are already dead because of things that they have experienced in the past. And we need to take care of our women because we bring life. So together, has Pan-African Women's Association, has Arise, has any African individual, has any white individual, wherever you come from, I don't care the nationality, we just have to stop domestic violence, gender-based violence. Any form of violence is harmful. It doesn't have to be gender. Any form of violence has to be stopped. And we can start now and break the pathology. Thank you.
Wow, that was an amazing, amazing, amazing deliberation by Musa Kalindi Muyango of Arise. And she, huh? Yeah, Mulangando. I'm sorry. Gender-based violence, and she just spoke about gender-based violence, domestic violence, and gave a good introduction to what is gender-based violence. Gave definitions, the forms of it, possible causes, and the prevention measures. A warm round of applause for Arise again. You need to come back because this amazing lady is going to give you something.
This young woman, I have goosebumps on my skin. I must say it. She is really, really powerful as a young woman. She's only 30 years old, and she knows what she wants, and she's giving to the society. I'm really proud of her. It's my first time seeing her, and I hope it's not the last time. I'm really proud of you, and I beg you, please come over to PAWA at times so we can have a little chat. You have a long way in front of you in this society. I can see that, okay? And I thank you again.
Arise, yes, lovely. Another round of applause for the future.